The Chunin Exams is easily one of the most iconic arcs in anime and manga, containing battles that have stood the test of time and iconic characters beloved by audiences across generations. So it is not a stretch to say the Chunin Exams is a good arc, if not a great one. But it's possible to have great arcs with problems, and one of those problems is Atake Kakashi, or rather how he plays his role as a teacher. Kakashi's role as a teacher is one of the things that builds up the events of the Chunin exams, and I will explain this by starting from the beginning of this very arc, mentioning certain scenes and pointing out how they reflect on Kakashi's role as a teacher. After the events of the Land of Waves, it's mentioned that Team 7 had been on several more missions. It is unfortunate that we did not get to see some of them, as this would better show how Team 7 had grown as a team following the event of the Land of Waves, but it is not a major gripe of mine. So back to the beginning of the arc. Kakashi mentions how their teamwork is non-existent lately, and Naruto mentions how during recent missions Sasuke and Sakura always show him up and save him. Now I find this funny considering what we saw in the Land of Waves, which is why I said it would have been better to see more of their missions so that we can better understand the context of how such a thing would happen. And the most important part, Sakura mentions Ash is always the weakest of the missions, the one with no special skills. And thus begins the issues. When the third Hokage summoned Kakashi and the other Jonin to ascertain if their students were ready for the Chunin exams, Kakashi replied in the affirmative, and when confronted by Iruka, he gave no reason as to why they were. All he said was that they were his soldiers now and that he would treat them as he saw fit. Of course, when we bring in ranks, Kakashi is Iruka's superior, so he does not need to answer him, but at the same time, from a writing perspective, it did feel like a cop-out, a way to make the plot move towards the Chunin exams without justifying to the viewers why and how all members of Team 7 were ready. Kakashi could have mentioned how certain missions made them more experienced or better fighters, or pointed out how each member's intelligence brings progress to each mission and how that would be better put into use if they were to become Chunin. But he didn't. Before we move on, I'd like to define what a Chunin means. A Chunin is a middle ninja, just above a Genin and right below a Jonin. Being a Chunin means you can lead a team on missions and even teach a class, examples being someone like Iruka. So why exactly did Kakashi think this was a rank his students were ready for? Naruto was still impulsive, Sakura was still unsure of her abilities, which was no fault of hers, and Sasuke didn't even show any traits that implied he would be mature enough to teach a class or lead a team. In every way, this was a bad call from Kakashi, and as we go even further, it becomes even more so. After Team 7 goes to hand in their applications for the exams, they meet Lee, who challenges Sasuke to a fight. Lee gains the upper hand at first, then Sasuke decides to activate his Sharingan. But before doing so, he says something concerning. Quote, "This may be my chance to get in a little practice using it." End quote. For me, this implies Kakashi did not train Sasuke in the usage of the Sharingan, which is weird. Kakashi is not an Uchiha, but he remains one of the best users of the Sharingan in the entirety of the show, and in the context of this arc, the best and only other Sharingan user besides Sasuke. So what exactly would be his justification for not training Sasuke in the ways of the Sharingan, especially before an incredibly difficult exam? And let's even say exams aside, Sasuke's fight with Lee was what made him know that despite the Sharingan's ability to read and predict an opponent's move, it's useless if your body cannot keep up, which is something Kakashi could have taught Sasuke. Once more, Kakashi shows traits of an irresponsible teacher. When talking about Kakashi, it is not uncommon to find Might Guy in the conversation. In some ways, they just oppose each other. Guy is more energetic, high in spirit and even sometimes loud. Kakashi is the cool-headed one, low in speech and has a lazy vibe to him. This makes it funnier when you consider the fact that Guy was the one who was level-headed enough to have his kids wait an entire year so they may be better prepared for the exams. And quite frankly, when you think about their personalities, Kakashi is supposed to be the one who is more likely to have his kids wait before taking an exam. He's smarter than Guy, more cool-headed, and one could say he's more logical, or at least he's supposed to be. When Guy confronts Kakashi about putting his kids in the exam early, once again Kakashi comes up with a load of nothing. As an answer, he responds that what his kids lack in experience, they make up for with surprise. And sure, fair, you have Naruto, who is highly unorthodox, Sasuke, who is a genius, but then why would he place so much confidence in quote-unquote surprise when he could just train them or let them accumulate enough experience? The fruits of teamwork, training, and experience showed best in the first stage of the Chunin Exams conducted by Ibiki Morino. We saw different teams communicate with each other, feeding off each other's strengths to copy and communicate answers with each other. We saw a lot of teams do this, but Team 7 was a different case. While Sasuke had his Sharingan to help him copy answers, and Sakura had her intellect and studies that allowed her to answer questions without having to copy. The issue was they did not have a way to communicate their findings with each other, their discoveries about the test. Team 7 did not know each other well enough, not close to the level that other teams did. They did not know how to use each other's strengths for each other's benefit. Kakashi left too much to chance and Naruto suffered for it, or rather, he would have. Once again, Kakashi showed traits of an irresponsible teacher. In every stage of the Chunin Exams, we saw how the lack of training affected members of Team 7, but the one most affected was none other than Haruno Sakura. In the first stage, on an individual level, Sakura was not affected as much as Naruto was because the test involved answering questions, and due to Sakura's intelligence and the effort she put into her studies, it was relatively easier for her. But in the following stages, this was not the case. The Forest of Death was another instance where Kakashi's shortcomings as a teacher became more blatant, with regards to Sakura especially. While Naruto and Sasuke had ways to hold their own with their respective jutsu, Sakura did not. Sakura did not have a jutsu to depend on, but she had to depend on the very basics to defend Naruto and Sasuke from Team Dosu. A lack of options so blatant it gave rise to one of the most hated panels or scenes of all time. Sakura cutting her hair. I understand that this act was a way to show Sakura's determination, and in a way it did. She was able to, if not for a moment, hold back Zaku. She even got a few hits in, but nothing much changed. Sakura would have still done better with a bit more training. At the end of the third stage of the Chunin Exams, Guy mentioned that Team 7 probably passed due to dumb luck, and quite frankly, he was a bit correct. I'm not saying people can't get lucky, and even if Team 7 had gotten more training from Kakashi before the exams, they would still need luck, just not at this level. At the beginning of the third phase is where things get interesting. Guy mentions this time they are going to pass or fail solely based on their abilities, which is the best way to see how each ninja can handle themselves individually. Naruto and Sasuke did relatively well in the preliminaries, improving their jutsu and fighting style. Even Sakura as well did improve on the basics she already knew. Still, she was a different case. You see, Sakura fought Ino, and when you consider the fact that Ino is from a special clan in the Leaf Village, meaning she has had more training in developing her jutsu and physical abilities than Sakura, it is very impressive that Sakura was able to fight her to a standstill. Now, imagine for a second that Kakashi trained her physical abilities or helped her develop jutsu. Sakura would have done much better. It made no sense for Kakashi to let her enter such an exam, knowing fully well she was going to be up against ninjas from special clans or more experienced shinobi without a jutsu of her own. In fact, among the people in the third phase of the Chunin exams, Sakura was the only one without her own jutsu, and Kakashi knew this. While it may not seem so right now, this video was not made to directly bash or attack Kakashi's character in any way, but rather to highlight his showings as a teacher, meaning the bad and the good aspects of his feat. As a teacher, Kakashi's job isn't solely to train his kids, but also believe in them and protect them when the need arises, which Kakashi does with Sasuke when he seals Sasuke's curse mark. A good turning point regarding Kakashi as a teacher was after the preliminaries. He had seen what Guy was willing to do to make Lee the best he could be, and how Guy pushed Lee to the absolute limit, even going as far as teaching him forbidden jutsu. He had seen the threat Gaara posed, and despite dealing with many issues like Orochimaru, Sasuke's curse seal, and Kabuto, he still found a way to act accordingly. He called Ebisu to aid in Naruto's training while he handled Sasuke's. For once, I would say that was a good call, given the events surrounding the situation. It was much better for him to train Sasuke who was going to face Gaara, seeing as he was the most dangerous candidate in the exams. And it was also a good decision to call Ebisu to help Naruto to strengthen his fundamentals. And yes, it is a fault on Kakashi's part that he didn't make sure the entirety of his team perfected the basics before entering into the exams, but we'll get into that some other time. So, while training, Ebisu tried teaching Naruto to walk on water, and yeah, once again, Kakashi should have also taught the team this. Why wouldn't he? Looking back on Naruto's battle against Neji, we can see the results of Naruto's training. The only problem is that Kakashi had nothing to do with these results, directly or indirectly. While he had assigned Ebisu to train Naruto, Naruto did not achieve the level of improvement he showed due to Ebisu's training, but rather due to Jiraiya's. And Naruto only happened to run into Jiraiya at the time by chance, so Kakashi gets no credit here. But with regards to Sasuke, we can give Kakashi a lot of credit. Sasuke was able to improve his speed with Kakashi's help and even learn the Chidori, which proved pivotal against Gaara. Now, the final thing to touch on is the fact that Kakashi actually did give Sakura some training in Genjutsu, but only enough that she could break it, not enough that she could cast one of her own. So yeah. So in summary, Kakashi put in Team 7 in a dangerous exam without making sure the entire team mastered the basics was a poor decision. Kakashi was irresponsible. Kakashi not teaching Sakura any jutsu or helping her create one before she went for the exams was irresponsible. Kakashi not allowing Team 7 gain more experience in order to work better and communicate with each other flawlessly was irresponsible, and Kakashi leaving too much to chance instead of being proactive was irresponsible. While he had his merits and good moments, all in all, in the Chunin exams, Kakashi was a bad teacher. Before I end the video, I would like to say there is a distinction between a bad teacher and a bad character. Within the context of this arc, Kakashi was a bad teacher, but by no means was he a bad character. Thank you for watching. My name is Sinbad, and I hope you have a good day.